WEMFradio.com.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm Pat B.
And I'm Adam Willis.
And you're listening to the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. Wait, what's going on? I'm a cappella. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties, but that's not changed the fact that you are listening to the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio, and I am Pat B. On the side of me is my main man. Look at him over there, just angry and gruff. He makes Anton Sugar look like a bitch. His name is Black Adam Willis.
Yeah, I look real tough with a mouthful of gummy bears right now.
Someone comes down, the alley, slobbering and stuff with multicolored rainbow juice from blocks dripping away. Yeah.
Think of the fight against diabetes you're doing right now.
Oh.
Hey man, you can say that, but rainbow juice dripping from your jaws, that's intimidating enough.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Geek Down here on WEMF, and we have an action-packed, fun-filled show for you. I want to thank you for joining us, and as always, you listen to us on WEMF Radio, but also if you want to see our smiling faces, you can check us out on twitch.tv/thegeekdown. So you can catch us on two fronts. You can hear these delicious audios, oral sounds coming for you, and you can see these gruff, angry, hardcore faces, mean mugging you for the next hour. But we have an awesome show for you. We're going to start off with a bit of news, but before we do,
it's news.
I want to make sure we're representing the house. I look across the table to one of my oldest friends in life. This gentleman right here birthed me, and I was there at the hospital, appreciative, all dripping in. I'm kidding.
That makes me your daddy.
It's like I was born in a hospital. I know I was there. All right. Now, of course, talking about my main man, the Thriller Priest.
Peace. Glad to be here. I miss Master Shake, man. I miss him telling me, get your hands off me. I missed the intro.
It'll be back soon enough. You got DJ Herbie Herb on the job. Speaking of which, I looked to the booth at DJ Herbie Herb. Woo! My man. All right, and of course, this gentleman hard working here in his engineering gear, vying for producer of the year.
No, don't.
I'm struggling. Come on, man. All right. Okay, fine. I'll keep it simple. How simple? Won't even give him a nickname. Talking, of course, about Just Johnny.
Yep.
Hey. All right, and of course, let's not forget our in-house guests.
Woo! Thank you.
Yes, indeed. All right, all the way from Bad Captain Games, I'm looking at...
I'm Thomas.
And...
I'm Frost.
And they're going to give us the lowdown later on Zero Sum, new upcoming game. Now, I thought board game. You all said card game earlier.
Yeah, it's one of the more, like Magic or Netrunner, so it's just it's not like poker or anything. You're looking more for like this kind of engagement back and forth scenario.
All right, so on their shuffleboard clone, known as Zero Sum.
You just throw cards at each other the whole time. Yeah. It's great.
Galactic Shuffleboard.
Looking forward to a new game with a tactile interface. I'll say that much for now. All right, cool, good stuff. But first, we're going to jump into the news real quick. Yeah. Not much happening last week because it was mostly Oscar stuff, but we do have a bit of sad news.
Yeah.
We lost, I know one of my favorite actors. I'm talking to y'all and finding out, not just one of my personal favorites, but you all had a fond appreciation for him as well.
Yeah, Mr. Bill Paxton, and he was one of those, he wasn't like a character actor, and he wasn't quite the leading man, but he always had these great roles, and... I'm trying to think of a movie that he's been in that I didn't enjoy. Maybe not the best movies, but like he was always a great character. He was always a memorable character.
Dude, Aliens.
Yeah, dude, he fought the Terminator. He fought the Terminator. He fought the Alien.
He fought the Terminator. He fought the Aliens.
The Predator.
He fought the Predator.
It's like the big three right there. You know what I mean? Like, who can say that ever?
Everyone else has been killed by the most famous action movie monsters ever.
You don't need to win. You just need to engage.
Yeah, Predator 2 when he was in the subway with it, fights him with a sword, I think.
Cowboy, man.
Let's dance! Yeah, it's so good, man.
Okay, that's another thing too. Anyone who doesn't know Bill Paxton, we'll put up a picture on Twitch there. But I struggle to think of any actor, I mean, save for Arnold and the big lines from the movies and stuff, who has, like, from background, so many quotable lines.
Right.
Like this dude from Game Over, man. Game Over. My personal favorite. I got a little dick. It's pathetic.
It's pathetic. Yes, from True Lies.
Yeah, from True Lies.
You stole my line.
I stole it. Sorry. I didn't realize Adam busting that out on first dates.
I got a little dick. It's pathetic. It's so good. My favorite is when he's saying, "Oh, she's got such an incredible body and a pair of titties," and he's just talking about it. This guy's wife that wants to kill him the whole time.
Sleaze and vulgarity
so good,
and art form.
Yeah. Well, he was like he towed the line between being like the jock type guy, which is like in Weird Science, and then being just a doofus. You know what I mean? And he was just like
the man had range.
Yeah, and he just did it so perfectly. And please, if you got him confused with Bill Pullman, shame on you.
Oh, that's a joke that should have died a long time ago. Right.
But yeah, we talk about True Lies, Terminator, Alien, Predator 2, Weird Science. Yeah. He directed the movie Frailty, which James, I know you're a big fan of, and I am as well. Favorites. And that's one of those movies that I think was definitely kind of flew under the radar when it came out, and it was a little underappreciated. And it is so good, and it has this great ending that you were just like, wow. And he had great chops as he directed that movie and he stars in it, along with Matthew McConaughey. So this was a great movie you should seek out. And of course, one of my favorite movies of all time too is Tombstone. He played Morgan, Kurt Russell's brother.
Dude, it's been so long. I forgot about that.
He has a great catalog.
So long since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, he's in Near Dark way back in the day, the vampire movie that Catherine Bigelow directed. All these great movies. Yeah, he was in a lot, and he brought something to all them. You know what I mean? He was definitely, if not the best part, one of the best parts in a lot of fantastic movies. So
absolutely. I also want to emphasize that he wasn't always like an identifiable face. He'd do like interesting things with mustaches and makeup and stuff, but he still stood out. And my prime example for that is Tom Cruise in Live, Die, Repeat.
Yes, I was gonna get Edge of Tomorrow for most. Yeah.
The movie where Tom Cruise plays a soldier who keeps dying and coming back.
And he plays the drill sergeant.
Bill Paxton plays this a-hole drill sergeant that's just a hard ass for no reason whatsoever, and he's got this weird ass like tiny mustache.
Yeah,
it's like if
which is a good sign that you're like an annoying bad guy. I think that's one of the things they do. Like, we can make this guy weaselly. You know what I mean? Give him this
things
thin
like that.
mustache.
I'm always curious if it's like the actor who's like, I need this. Or if the director's like, you should just have this terrible mustache. That's
well, I think I remember Sam Jackson's talking about like one of the things he's in so many movies. One of the ways he switches up is that he has famously like his changes hair. You know what I mean? So he does like these weird hair things. But I mean, that's definitely a character.
Sam Jackson, man. Remember the Bruce Willis movie.
Third time's a charm there.
Oh, dang! I had it. The M. Night Shyamalan one, where he played the superhero.
Unbreakable.
Thank you. Sam Jackson's hair in Unbreakable was just like...
don't hate on his hair. I was on his hair on that one.
It was somewhere between like...
Hate on the hair, don't hate on the role.
Somewhere between like the Ghetto Afro and the Frederick Douglass.
I was feeling it, man.
The Frederick Douglass.
That was Frederick Douglass. You're right, but I was feeling that more than I was feeling him and Jackie Brown with the hair plugs.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, nah, son, not buying.
Was it Gator in that? Hit him with the walk.
You wouldn't say the half gray Obama tone dreadlocks in what was it, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah,
this dude, it's like they didn't know if the hair wanted to go gray, if it was like, this dude's platinum blonde, yet he's still black somehow.
Plus, it was like Caveman's Valentine. He had that homeless thing going on. But we digress for
okay. How that actually related was Bill Paxton's mustache in Edge of Tomorrow was pretty much if you took like the Charlie Chaplin and waxed it.
Yeah,
like that extra tiny. Like the true sign of a villain. I think Michael Jordan showed us that.
Yeah,
with his
the Hitler. Yeah.
But Bill Paxton used that to his advantage. Like you didn't just like hear him act and see his performance. He had the looks down.
Yeah.
Hudson, famously from Aliens, he looked like kind of a panicky guy. He's a Marine, but he's also the one who's gonna like jump into action without thinking.
Yeah, and Weird Science, he just looked like that jockey older brother that was just this complete hard ass that you hated. That you hated.
But putting him in that wife beater that had stains on it for no like discernible reason as well. Really helped that along.
But 61 years old.
Pretty young.
I guess
it is now.
He was complication from surgery.
Complication. He had I guess he had a stroke after surgery. Yeah, after heart surgery. He supposedly died away.
That's what's rough. From it wasn't like natural causes. Maybe it was, but it was triggered by something. That's what really gets
right. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that was still working. You know what I mean? Still, presumably would have had a dozen or so more roles. You know what I mean? Doing a lot of stuff. He was still an in-demand actor, and from what I hear, like just a fantastic guy too. I know Mark Harris.
He was in post-production of a movie called The Circle that's dropping. Post-production.
He was on
It's just crazy.
Mark Harris,
With
the
this
writer,
movie
was talked about it
soldiers.
too.
They wear circles on the uniforms and they fight these guys with X's on their uniforms, and they all like get
3 in
in
a row?
formation. That's what I heard. You know,
Oh,
they're planning a trilogy, and it's no, sorry.
I'm skimming the wiki now. I mean, it's a pretty good cast. I mean, we're talking Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Sean Boyega. I mean, it's a pretty good Patton Oswalt, Bill Paxton.
Why
I
not?
mean,
Damn.
yeah, it's supposed to be dropping on the 28th of April. So I mean,
got
the
some
guy
heavy
was still
hitters.
working. You know what I mean?
There's
It's
some
sad.
interesting heavy hitters and some like comedic value in that one. I'm curious now.
We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
His passing just made me kind of go through the entire like. I thought about it. Wow, every movie I saw when I was little, he was in something. Right? As I'm coming
he
up.
was a guy in
Right?
there
Yeah,
somewhere.
he was somewhere in there.
He's like the underappreciated, lesser acknowledged Kevin Bacon.
In some ways, yeah. Honestly, I think it's a good assessment. I would say he has more range of bacon, though.
You know, Mel Gibson was in Mad Max along with the dude who played Matrix, the dude who was after Matrix in Commando, who was also one of the mutants in Weird Science with Bill Paxton.
6 Degrees of Bill Paxton.
Of course, and we'll kind of gloss over the fact that I did like 3 movies that have the exact same guy in them, regardless of like that was a leap. So
He was in a Simple Plan too. You remember that movie? That was a great film. Come on, you know A Simple Plan?
I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
I
get on
apologize. Okay.
He was a film student, though.
True.
I'm just saying.
Truth.
Wow.
Truth.
Oh,
Hater, just throwing the brother under the bus. He's supposed to, of all people in this room.
Nah, man.
he's the one who tells the truth, right?
Man, no, not at all. Right?
Thank you.
Okay, so we want to thank JM for coming on the show. This will be his last time on Geek Down. These people. All right. Well, anyways, Bill Paxton. I was a huge fan. I think 61 is far too young, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try to see as many of his movies. Just things that I've loved over the years.
Yeah.
Next week. And
Yeah, it's the best way to honor him. You know what I mean? And of course, you're gonna have plenty to pick from. You know what I mean? He's been in a lot of great stuff. So I'll be probably doing the same. You know what I mean? I'll watch Titanic for the 1000th time or
What was your
something
favorite
like
one
that.
again,
He was
Chris?
in that. You know?
What was your favorite one again?
Oh, Frailty.
There it is.
Yeah.
Frailty.
I just
Yeah,
love
I'm
his
gonna
character in True Lies so much. It's
Oh.
so
He's got that
so
voice in the face, like you buy him so much
the way he
as
picks
the
up
ultimate sleaze.
the way he picks up Jamie Lee Curtis when she's just sitting there and he kind of walks by and looks at her, and then he just drops his suitcase off. He's like, "Take this, I need you." Looks back, shit, and then he then he runs off, and that's it. That's all he does. And then he calls her, and oh my god, it's just such a perfect role, and no one could have pulled it off like Bill Paxton. He asked. It's just that, like you said, fine line between like this overconfident doofus guy. You know what I mean? So it's great. He left so much behind. So yeah, I'll be doing what you're doing and watch as many films as I can.
Nice. Bill Paxton, 61 years of age. Rest in peace, sir.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
All right, now, speaking of actors and unfortunate things, the Oscars, the Academy Awards, 2017 was, what's the 74th annual? The
89.
Oscars.
It was 80 something, right?
89.
Yeah, 89.
The old as fudge Oscar ceremony was last night. Hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. This is coming just 1 year after the whole Oscars So White scandal. And I felt that the last year they really tried to push more movies, more prestige format films. Feature.
They tried to push them. They just happen to work out this way. You know what I mean? It's like a cycles. I don't think they were
maybe, but every
purposely-
year there's several films that feature casts that don't feature entirely lily white, rosters, and they're somehow overshadowed. And last year was the first time it was really called out, not just like, "Hey, I noticed something," but you racist mother. And they really. It became a movement, dude. It was a whole hashtag, and
that's what a movement stands. Yeah, no.
Well, to the point
hashtag
where
it.
this
That'll
year
teach 'em.
now, this year is the first year following that, and there were very blatantly more nominees of color. More nominees of color, more nominees of alternative gender, and what's the proper word here? I'm trying to say.
What do you mean alternative gender? Yeah, there's.
I mean, it was diverse. It was quite diverse.
Orientation is what I'm trying to say, but. Like that's new. That's new and awesome. That's big. And this year's Oscar ceremony, I thought was actually damned entertaining.
It was.
Especially
I agree.
I watch them regardless. You know what I mean? They're
but you're a masochist
the knock,
like that.
the knock on it is just they're long. They're just terribly long. And there's always there's always 2 or 3 bits that you can get rid of. This year they had the bit where they brought in a bunch of people who didn't know they were there from this bus.
I thought that was awesome. I know you wasn't a fan, but I thought it was awesome, Adam.
I personally hated it because, first of all, I was like, these people don't know. Like, they're taking a bus tour in L.A. during the Oscars. Do you think they care about the Oscars? You know what I mean?
They care about
They don't
Hollywood.
care. And they brought, it was like this guy is, people have been talking about Gary from Chicago, and he's like the old guy with a phone out videotaping the whole thing. And it was funny. Jim McKimmel was like, this is, you can watch this on TV. You don't have to videotape the whole thing. He's like, oh yeah, well I'm doing it anyway.
It was like, he had to go.
I was there. You got to see this. I'm going to show this to Martha back home.
It just took too long. And it reminded me. I mean, they've been doing these weird bits that just like kind of don't play that well, like the pizza thing that Ellen did a couple years ago, and then Chris Rock did the Girl Scout cookies thing. And it's
I think they have to like throw things into the mix. Just
do
try,
they? When all the biggest complaint is being it too long, you can cut out
the
15 minutes right there.
The biggest complaint from us, from the viewing public, is that it's too long. But the complaint from the people that quote unquote matter has been, no one can measure up to Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal was the ultimate host. You gotta beat him and stuff.
And I think the complaints to the public. I think complaints to the public is it's too long because we have way too many commercial breaks.
Yep.
I mean, because as a whole, the Oscars are probably maybe 2 hours tops in terms of its length.
Man, they're in there for 23 minutes, okay? They add all that footage, so many crowd shots. They're in there like, you don't see it because they cut away for like reactions.
Yeah, so
when they trade off, it's like, who won this? Meryl Streep. She comes up, she daps whoever, presented her. And she's like, thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. And they made subbing. They're just jogging in there.
Well, it's good as a host, I think he did.
Last year, Ben Affleck busted a slide off the stage. You didn't see that. It was like,
you mean and guest. Which was hilarious.
All right, okay, hold on. Let's give that context.
I'm sorry,
real quick.
Adam, you say it?
Wait, hold up. No, give that context real quick. We're talking about the 2017 Academy Awards ceremony, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Musical presenter was Justin Timberlake, did a bunch of big numbers, and Kimmel had a bunch of quirks as a host to try to make himself stand out.
No, he didn't have a quirk. That's Jimmy Kimmel. He's been doing that forever. That's his style. So I think he came out and he did really good at like kind of punking the Oscars a little bit, not to a degree of what's his face.
Talking about Chris Rock?
I know you're talking about.
What's happening? The English gentleman.
Yeah, I'm trying to blank on his name right now.
Wow, from the invention of the Lying movie.
Yeah.
God, we do this professionally.
All right, who cares?
I've heard.
He came to
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, so he did.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard you were a film student too, right?
That will be edited out in the post show.
So he didn't go full Gervais, but he definitely had fun with it. He definitely took some shots at Mel Gibson. He took these obvious, the easy targets. You know what I mean? Which is great, and it was obviously made a very political too. Saying a lot of things, and that's one of the
Cosby jokes. I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, that's kind of played out. It's not funny anymore either.
Yeah, I think we're past that one.
But
no, you're right. There are bigger criminals like people in the White House now. So.
Oh, nice. Oh.
But we're talking.
Thank you. I am available to host the Oscars 2018. I'm just putting that out there now. Hey, guys, what's going on?
I would think if you're going to keep targeting that, though, it doesn't really show a challenge. Like, it doesn't show a lot of talent. It's pretty easy to hit that one.
True.
Monkeys in Battle type of thing.
I'll find a better target.
All right.
All right.
So you guys were talking about the rival with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon
is that
was
back from the Sarah Silverman days? Is that what's still happening there, or what?
Probably. I'm not even sure.
No, there's a back and forth going on between Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel that's been played up for comedy purposes over the years. Like, they're friends, and people know that they themselves, between them, are cool. Mm-hmm. But it's become as much as big a joke as it can possibly be, I think.
I recall the song, right?
Yeah, I think definitely because of her, though, that it's been going on for so long. Like, two of them, people know they're cool, but it's still the gag that, they hate each other, right? Sure, they do. That's why they're
at first you thought it was real, like way back when they started doing
it.
Now,
but I also know what kind of comedian Sarah Silverman is. And for anyone that is unfamiliar, after all this time, okay, you know what? YouTube, I'm effing Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's it.
And that'll pretty much put everything in context for you. But that created a supposed rift between Matt Damon, the actor, and Jimmy Kimmel, the show host.
No, I think it started before that, and that was like the topper. Okay, now I really got you. This is
well, it kind of came to a head. If anyone still bought into that at the Oscar ceremony this weekend.
Yeah, when they brought out Affleck and Matt Damon when they announced him, it was like, oh, here's Ben Affleck and guest. You know what I mean? It was like he's like a +1.
Matt Damon and guest.
Matt Damon and guest.
Well, I personally
No, it was Ben Affleck,
I like that
because
you can't actually remember which one it
Matt
is.
Damon.
That just really makes the icing on that one.
Yeah.
No one actually knows which way it went.
But in terms of
called out Casey Affleck's man bun.
yeah, well, in terms of like the awards too, like
speaking of Casey Affleck, took the role for a movie you were crazy about, which Johnny's
Manchester by the Sea, yeah, of course.
To the people. we
made one dance
in house.
before.
I have more too if you think that's
he gave him his gifts. Actually, we all had them.
That's his new Oscar strategy. Gummy bears.
Yes, again, 2018. Just putting that out there.
It's called the gummies.
Manchester by the Sea.
The golden gummies.
All right, but the awards, you were crazy about Manchester by the Sea, and you were not alone. Apparently, Casey Affleck took. Now, it wasn't his first nomination, right? Because Casey Affleck won.
No, I think he was nominated for a supporting actor for another one. I don't.
Did he get one for the SNL skit? Because that thing was brilliant.
He did not get one for the SNL skit. Casey Affleck won for
Manchester by the Sea. Yep. Emma Stone won for Best Actress as well for La La Land.
I was surprised by that one.
The important ones, I think, are like Asghar Farhadi won for The Salesman, and he obviously had a statement written because he's back in his home country where it's one of these
he's not coming back.
Can come back because of this travel ban and everything like that, this Muslim travel ban. So this was definitely an ever-present thing that kind of hung over, not into like this, it wasn't all doom and gloom, but it was definitely this palpable kind of thing. I'm really glad he won. I didn't think his movie was the best one out there. I thought Tony Erdmann would have probably taken Best Foreign Language Film, but
there was a lot of surprises there with the winners. Do you think that was maybe unfairly given?
No, because it is a good movie like that. You know what I mean? And I don't play like what deserves and what doesn't, and what's better. It's hard enough to judge art against each other, and I don't think you should. So that's why these awards are kind of weird in general.
Well
but
said.
having this,
it's an award given by your peers.
Well, having this
how is it
statement there, having this statement written out is just kind of really brought it home. It was a very poignant thing to have there, and you see the exact effects of these regulations in this political climate now. So this is right in your face here.
I mean, even on top of that. I mean, because it definitely casted like this real shadow that I think in many ways diminished from the quote unquote fun that was happening. Mm-hmm. So not to diminish what happened there, but to add on to it, but in a different sort of twist is when Jimmy Kimmel then turned around and had his phone streamed to the screen in which he tweeted the president. Mm-hmm. And it still addressed the fact that this man just won this award, but he can't be here because there's a travel ban. Yep. But the same token, we're still addressing we're as heavy as that is, we're still going to address the president in a comedic sort of way. So it doesn't diminish what happened, or what's happening, but at the same time, it's shedding light from a different lens.
Yeah,
well, you have to direct.
I don't even see that though as a comedic thing. That's just literally showing how accessible our president is now, right? You can literally just poke him.
He was probably watching and
exactly, right? Like
he's a junkie. He's a junkie for this stuff.
I sincerely hope he was watching and hope he was paying a lot of attention when Meryl Streep was addressed and basically applauded by the entire auditorium. These are people in Hollywood, quote unquote Hollywood's elite. I hate saying that, but I actually do mean it sincerely in this case, because these are the people that are there because they're being awarded as the best we have currently right now, presenting material, making material, and providing entertainment and media. And they're all of the opinion that Meryl Streep is a great actress, a great humanitarian, and somebody who deserves our respect and admiration and adoration. And Kimmel came at it from the approach of everything negative that a very vindictive person who's not even involved in the entertainment industry basically came out his mouth and said some ignorant stuff for no reason. Well, for no reason, but basically he's a petty a-hole, and I like the fact that the Oscars addressed that. The Oscars did it in a classy way, but also an entertaining way. And I'm of the same opinion. It's like, this is a woman who
he was definitely playing to hit an audience that I think was all in favor of what he was saying.
Well, yeah, but
I'm
a big fan of Meryl Streep's work over the years. Like, she's done fantastic work, in my opinion. Yeah, and
of course, I mean that much is obvious. Yeah, she's the most celebrated actress ever. And I think they said last night was her 20th nomination. Yeah, you know what I mean? Which is just crazy. Yeah. Also, who else won last night? I think forget what it was. I'm sorry for music or something. This was the 21st time they were nominated in their first win.
Yeah, I forgot who it was.
So they had been nominated 20 times before that, and this was the first win.
This was a person?
Somebody won last night. Yes, a human being won last night.
Well, no, I know. I say that because I know La La Land tied for the most.
No, I'm talking about like a single person's. Not like they got nominated 20 times that night. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm saying over their career.
Like a Leonardo DiCaprio moment where it just never happens over and over and over.
Oh, maybe it was Leo.
There's no way, Leo. That's crap. Like Peter O'Toole was a better actor. And he was nominated 1,000 times.
Hey, man. Leo's work in Romeo plus Juliet. Okay,
yes. That's a classic right there.
The plus, I love it. Yeah.
No one's done finer work in Hawaiian shirts.
But
yeah.
But going on to the actors and stuff, Marshala Ali, which is the first award of the night for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, first Best Supporting Actor for Moonlight, which I thought was well deserved. I had Michael Shannon too up there. Like I thought he was great.
Yeah, up against some legit talent.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a stacked actors and actresses awards year. And
real quick, not to step on that, just to jump in, because you had asked how people.
How does it actually work?
Yep. They do something called I think I may have the wrong term. It's like drop voting or downfall voting. Basically, it's
anyone who's ever been nominated or won an award has a vote.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
Since about 2011,
so it's basically a jury of your peers. That's what a lot of people don't understand either.
That's not all right. Yeah.
Which some people think it's just like a room full of crotchety old white men.
It used to be.
It maybe. Yeah.
It used to be. That was the Academy that voted up until about 2011. That's how they did it for every year in the Oscars. They've been doing it this way with the jury of your peers method. Basically, they send cards to people with all the nominees on there, and they vote. And it's not always
those for your consideration things.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, those exist. Yeah.
And it's the top votes are grouped into a group, and the bottom votes are grouped into a separate.
So, like Frank Stallone can vote. You know what I mean? Like, you get some people like that, of course. Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, WorldCon does the same thing with the whole writing style. They do that too, right?
Yep, but the way they select winners is not necessarily the most that receive like top marks, but the most that receive marks in a general area. So if like everyone had like 10 people had La La Land and 6 people had Moonlight, but 40 people all had Manchester by the Sea as their number 2. Exactly. Manchester by the Sea takes it by having that majority of people think so highly of it, even though it wasn't their top.
Sure.
And that's how they would determine. That's how they determine the winner, and everything else drops off according to how many people voted, and then how many people voted highly. That's why they have the high category and low category. So a movie that a lot of people think was like number 5 out of 6,
right?
But still falls in that 6, and enough people put it as 1 or 2, despite the fact that the rest put it as like 5.
You're right.
Then that movie can still take it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a kind of a pointlessly convoluted system when you could just say, okay, everybody vote. How many got number 1? But I think that makes it a little more fair.
Sure.
It also gives movies that you wouldn't necessarily think as the highest contenders a legit shot.
Yep. Right.
They're not just there because it's the participation trophy. It's like they actually earned this.
Yeah, I think the 3 biggest winners tonight was La La Land, Moonlight, and Manchester by the Sea took home a few that I definitely the ones I thought the best original screenplay. Kenneth Lonergan. Like I said, that Manchester by the Sea was my favorite film of last year.
You follow the more in-depth ones because I don't really pay attention to like the screenplay.
Really, I think those are that's like I think one of the most important. I usually somebody who wins the screenplay one's gonna win picture because you know what I mean. A lot of those things are connected. They historically are. But La La Land's definitely started slow. It was nominated 14 times. You know what I mean, and they definitely started picking up steam, winning a lot of these awards. And then, like I said, Manchester by the Sea won Best Actor as well. Casey Affleck, which I thought was deserving. A lot of people thought maybe Denzel would have.
He was up against Denzel. Well. He was up against Andrew Garfield. He was up against
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting one big one. Why am I forgetting this one? Well, he was up against one more.
Gosling.
Thank you, Ryan Gosling. People that have done fantastic work. People that are known as consistently doing fantastic work. This is Casey Affleck. I've only liked Casey Affleck in one other movie. And that was Gone Baby Gone, which is a movie that I like and also hate because it's a great movie.
I didn't really like the movie. He was good in it, but you're right. Yeah.
You don't like?
It wasn't my favorite.
All right, not for everybody.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'll never watch it again because it pissed me off that much.
He's definitely the most talented of the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon bunch. You know what I mean? He is.
Wait, you gonna hate on the Boston boys there?
No, I just think I'm not hating him. I'm saying he's just more talented.
He's
you know
done
what I mean?
He's done a lot of good stuff for somebody from
diss.
Boston who's not named Sully. No. What I've also
That's how we show affection in Boston. Hating on people.
Well, you got Sully, you got Fitzy there, you got...
Yeah.
The technical awards, though, things like Suicide Squad winning best makeup.
Yeah. And there was 1,000 jokes, which annoyed me. It's like, oh, Suicide Squad has one more Oscar than Peter O'Toole. Like, this is like, yes, you can do that 1,000 times.
Yeah, things done in...
The makeup wasn't bad, you know what I mean? But you're right. Then now it's, they're going to say, Oscar-winning film.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever, like that. Technically, it's true, you know what I
WB
mean?
knows how to market that stuff.
Hey, that makeup was amazing. Stop hating.
What?
It was great.
What's this movie it was up against? Well, it was up against a lot of sci-fi that did great things with
Beasts
makeup.
of the Southern... No,
it was up against Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal makeup.
And a man called Ube.
All I have to point out is that chick with the finger head thing that was gross and made my skin crawl. Phenomenal makeup job, despite how disgusting it was.
Mm.
Well, anyways,
If you get a visceral reaction from it, it's doing well, yeah.
yeah, right. You know, well, in that respect, Godzilla also.
Oh, yeah.
That should have won it.
Oh, Jesus.
And of course, best
That was
makeup
it
right there.
So bad.
Moving
So
on, though,
gross.
to the biggest part of the night.
Wait. Let's not gloss over Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan and a few others getting the honorary award, the Governor's Award.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't Oscar-winning people, but these are people that have been overshadowed for years and continuously working in the industry. Jackie Chan for action and stunt coordination. This woman in the wheelchair, I forget her name, but apparently she's been like an editor for everybody and forever.
Yeah.
And had never received an award. And this was like they honored her, and everyone was just like tearing up because they're like, "Yeah, I've worked with her. Why did she never win?" You know.
Happens, yeah.
So it's like those are the awards I don't usually pay attention to, but because it was such a big thing, and let's be honest, because of Jackie Chan mostly. But I mean, these other nominees were honored too.
I just don't think Jackie Chan is really overlooked. You know what I mean? I don't think he wins awards.
Everyone knows
I
he's
think,
amazing, but that's like, okay, I mentioned Susan Lucci just earlier, but that's like a situation with her. Everyone knows she's phenomenal, but it just happened to fall into somebody else was deemed a little more phenomenal at the time. That doesn't necessarily take anything away from her. Everyone knows she's amazing, but she never won the award coincidentally because of who she was up against each time. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I stepped on you, man. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying, just moving on to the biggest part of the night.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel missing that microphone when Justin Timberlake threw it at him. No. Look of anger.
Best Picture, obviously. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway came out because it was the 50th anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde, and it would have been a nice little, gathering, like remember this, blah, 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 like that, good part of film history. And so they're going to present the award for Best Picture. So they go to open the envelope, and immediately you see Beatty's face, like, and you think he's stalling. But immediately he starts stalling, and you think it's for dramatic effect. You're like, why is he? Is he just being a dick? Like, is he? You know what I mean?
He dug back into the envelope.
Yeah, and started looking like this. So then
I thought there was chocolate in here.
Yeah, and so he gives it to Faye Dunaway, who then sees it, and she's like, La La Land, and everyone's like, oh, okay, this big thing. Even me, I turned the TV off, whatever. And then no, I just don't need to see a producer speak on this. Yeah, I've seen the movie; it's great.
He's like, Patriots lost the Super Bowl. Click.
And so that was, presumably it. And then, of course, we realized that they had, I believe, the wrong envelope.
Yeah.
Because they make copies of these things in case something happens. So he had a copy that said, I believe, Emma Stone, La La Land, because she won the award immediately prior to that for Best Actress. And so that's the thing they're reading, or that's the thing they saw. And Beatty was kind of confused. So he's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
I wonder how obvious
and
that
gave it
stuff
off.
is sometimes, because the envelopes look alike, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, on the outside, ostensibly they're the same thing.
No, it's printed on the outside. It said Best Actress. It's an award for Best Actress.
But it was in a thing. You kind of you don't pay attention. You open
That's
it.
like
You
open
look
it up.
inside.
You saw Emma Stone, La La Land.
Right.
It was like
Okay, I was
That's why he was
confused
confused, but
he
Faye
should have
Dunaway
because
didn't
I
know.
thought he'd be like, okay, Bob Costas Pootie-Tang. Well
Yeah.
then, now justice has been done.
Right. And so you have
how
to
you
do
balance
this
that,
thing
yeah.
where you go back out there and you're like, sorry, 15, 20 people on the stage that are really excited for winning
just
the highest
thanked
award
her
in
wife.
movies.
Yeah,
That's all
they
that
gave
said
these
to you.
heartfelt speeches, man.
I'm saying,
and
like,
I
no one
felt
said
so
take the mic
bad.
out their hand. Like, a good 3 or 4 dudes went up there like, this was so important to me. Thank you to my beautiful wife for sacrificing this time for me. I'm like, no one's going to go out there and stop
Bro,
this.
brother, if you're in the middle of
This
this
is
speech,
horrible, bro.
you're like, my wife is the most important person ever. I can't thank you enough for being my I'm not going to be like, excuse me, shut your hole, man.
That Kanye West was needed.
It is a tough job to go be
Okay,
the one
yeah.
out there
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Kanye,
that.
we should have had Kanye West up there
But
like,
that
I'm sorry.
person then
I'm
becomes
gonna let
the-
you finish.
That person
Wait
becomes
till
the
you win this
one.
award. Moonlight did his greatest movie of all time.
Man.
Shrug, roll out.
Boom.
Sadly, the way
I
it
felt
happened,
so bad, man. Like,
the way it happened is, I think, the only way it could have happened without like embarrassment and scandal. Had they just been ushered off, it'd have been like, oh, here goes Moonlight bullying, the innocent. Well, movie about white folks teaching folks jazz. I mean, what happened there? But besides that, it's like, yeah. But I mean, besides that,
Yeah.
it would have been, we interrupt these people's like, heartfelt speeches about how important this was to them and what should be the greatest moment of their life. Excuse me, I'm getting choked just thinking about it. What should be the greatest moment of their career. To say this is not your moment, this is someone else's moment, and then bring them on, and the negative stigma of people not knowing the entire story right then and there, and just assuming you just robbed them, or you're taking it out of their hand and giving it to this person.
It's not a rob, though. It's
no, I know, but that's how it would seem to people. I think the way it happened is the only way it could happen smoothly, and even that was awkward.
it was even smooth because Horowitz was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we didn't even win."
Yeah, that I thought that was some petty stuff. That was just like he's in the middle of his speech and they just like, yeah, you lost. But he was like, and I'd like to thank my what, and that I think was
such a
that was
unique thing. It's never happened in the history of
True.
the award
It
show.
was very classy.
There was one of my favorite
in the entire 117 years of the Oscars.
one of my favorite things.
Way to hand over. He said that Moonlight earned this award, and I'm very happy to present this to my friends, the producers of Moonlight. They've earned it and they deserve it. And he emphasized that while holding the award that like 30 seconds prior he thought he won. That's big, and that was a classy move, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you have? What other option do you have? Look like a jerk in
You
front of the
smack
whole
him in the
thing?
head with it and then run.
Yeah, no, that's not an option, though. You know what I mean?
Like, my Oscar.
Yeah, no, you got to pull up all those actor skills and just kind of hide your anger or whatever.
The funny thing is like there was always that thing where they thought Marissa Tomei didn't actually win Best Supporting Actress.
Today.
You know what I mean? For My Cousin Vinny.
Gosh,
It's like
she's so
it's like no, she definitely won
Got up
because
there like Marissa Tomei. No, really, who got it?
My cousin Vinny, Oscar? Yeah, all right.
it's like no,
All right,
they
well,
definitely won because this is what happens when you don't. You know what I mean? So this is the protocol now. I guess.
Well, it was the 146th Oscar ceremony. I'd just like to say this one, a lot of people were on it. I like the approach that was taken on the political aspects of it. I thought it was a very well presented ceremony. And dude, I thought Kimmel actually did a pretty good job. I'm hoping they bring him back. I'd like to see where it goes now. If you have any opinions and want to follow up, or anything you want to chime in on, if you disagree with the way it was presented, and you think that Moonlight should have gotten the Oscar, smacked in the forehead, and I'm kidding. But hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. We can continue this conversation. Hit us up on social media. Also, if you go to our bio page, all the social media links are on there. But now, I want to talk to our in-house guests.
Oh,
we have
awesome. I'm Thomas.
And
Frost.
from Bad Captain Games. You all want to give us the lowdown on what's going on with Bad Captain?
Sure. We just started, actually a couple years ago. Frost and I.
Back in those halcyon days when I still had, all my hair and
You have all your hair. It's
have
fine.
insomnia.
Oh well, that I can't help.
Because
Don't
you're on
think so.
camera, though, right? They can plainly see
Yeah,
the
they
wig.
can see. Yeah. I had left. I did a career change. I believe you did as well at the time. And we started at a kind of a local game studio, big corporation type. It was a really cool experience at the time. And then we started doing game pitches and coming up with really cool ideas. And then we realized the studio was going a different way, and we really wanted to make this game still, right? But we're not programmers. The rest of the team aren't programmers. So we realized, where do our skills lie? Well, we have an artist.
Tabletop.
Yeah, we have.
Nice.
Exactly.
Wait, so this started off as digital.
Yeah.
We were thinking about that. Yeah.
We had a studio. It was like, what's the next big thing our studio should do? We were like, 400 people? We got an idea, right? And Now we're like, 4. So scale,
small cutback.
Scale a little. Just a little, yeah. A small reduction, of
Just
course.
move the decimal point. It's fine.
Oh, that's exactly how it works, yeah. So we got, the idea originally came long ago with a friend of mine. We sat down, we were trying to come up with some really cool sci-fi ideas for like role-playing games and for live-action games. And because there aren't a lot of live-action role-playing games in the area that are science fiction-based.
Mm-hmm.
There's one called Future Imperfect, which is the one my friend and I started, and then we left after like a few years. But the core of that idea was
the future with the company was.
Hey, that's how we look.
Imperfect.
Wow, we look pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I'll stop talking.
Anyway, no, it's all right. I got distracted by like looking at us.
But...
Yeah, it's too soon for me. It's a good point. But no, the idea was like all these factions exist, and what got them there, right? How do you do the future of humanity? What's important to humans? How do you live on as an immortality concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have all these different themes. You've got the idea of people who want to like upload their consciousness to like the internet, and live that way.
They're my favorite. They're Anachron.
Yeah, so
I will be like them someday.
We've got a bunch of player fantasies are actual based on the ideas of philosophy of immortality. Right. So we took this and I brought this to Amelia and was like, kind of a very competitive game based on this idea, and she was like, well, I was thinking of a cooperative one, but
I don't really like PvP all that much. But I mean, the good news is
competitive games.
No, I'm aware.
I know you are. Not everyone is. I mean, so not everyone on Twitch is, but like,
Gotcha. No, good call, good point. I was going to say, but I love that comic. How dare you?
But I mean, we got a small group of people together who all have a love of sci-fi, but we all approached it in a slightly different way, and so we were able to combine our ideas and kind of meet each other in the middle and come up with something that was different than any one of us had in our brains, and I think stronger for it.
Yeah, I was warned ahead of time. Like when you're designing a game, designing an idea, you kind of take the idea, put it out into the community, the people you're working with, and just back up. Right? Like you did your part. Let everyone else help it grow up and become the thing it's going to become, and that's worked out really, really well for me. So now we have this card game that we've made, which is like Magic the Gathering or Netrunner, in that there are 2 to 3 people. You're playing against each other, but you're really playing against this middle deck. It's what we call a catch deck, like the Catch-22 concept. And we had to adjust the number, of course. That wasn't really a feasible consistency. But the idea is that you're one of 2 to 3 corporations trying to vie for like all the resources on this planet. And because you're corporations, you can't just blow each other up, right? Like that's generally frowned upon.
You've got to be civil about
We live in the
things.
world with Walmart, and I mean,
well, there are moments, right?
So
there are
if
certain
Walmart
cards.
had mechs and rocket launchers.
They do.
They do. Yeah, Walmart had. Yeah, well, they do. If you go to like
in Trump's America, they do.
Yeah, well, say down in Baltimore, Maryland, you can get all sorts of stuff. But a little further south, when I was there anyway. But yeah, you play one of the different factions. You're trying to get resources and trying to fight for prestige. So the game has a couple of iteration points that we really, really liked. Right? It's not just me versus you. It's I'm trying to improve myself while putting you down a little bit. Right? And we're mostly fighting over this middle territory. Then there's
so it's like the 2 of us. Like I roll the die, and instead of like blowing up this wall in your compound, I just insult your mama. I can do that too.
You could totally insult his mom. In fact, we have a phase purely for trash talking to try to goad somebody to do something they probably shouldn't do.
Nice.
Because it's important.
Oh, look who invested in gold! I invested in platinum. What? So
these like events come up, and you're trying to get them and get prestige for your faction or for your corporation. And as you level up, as you get these prestige points, your character levels up that you're playing, and this happens twice, getting you more powers and more abilities. The deck itself constantly drains your budget. And unlike Magic, where you have like a mana pool that's separate, so you can cast characters and throw spells out, your life pool and this budget are the same thing, just like any other corporation, right? You run out of money, you're out of a job, so you got to kind of like balance these two things together. So you start with all your budget, and every time you prove that you're worth it, they give you a little bit more. But if you leave these problems out, they take some away, or it costs money to actually keep things going.
All right. Now, normally when games delve into the realm of fiscal responsibility, I'm assuming you're not targeting like ages 4 and below.
No. In fact, this world is pretty dark. It's basically 1,000 years into humanity's future, and the Earth is destroyed. Humanity basically just ruined it with overpopulation and pollution. And so the megacorps of old Earth are all that remains. They built these huge ships and blasted off from Earth and spent hundreds of years basically making the journey out to the rest of the galaxy. And so now they've seeded solar systems and are basically slowly building competition with each other as they fight for more and more of the known galaxy. And so they enlist you as this agent, meant to, at the very beginning, be a grunt and do their bidding. But if you do well and don't run out of money, then you grow in their eyes. And so the other thing we did
with the fun side of corporate espionage.
Indeed,
absolutely.
indeed, prove your worth.
You see why I have her doing narrative, though? This is a much easier way to explain it, Ellie.
So speaking of narrative, that's kind of the other half of the game. You can play it solo. You can play it in a 1v1 or 1v1v1 competitive environment. You can also, we hope, once we've tweaked the rules, do like 2v2 or 3v3, but we're not quite there yet.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
totally.
You only want to cross one corporation at a time.
Exactly.
I mean, the stretch goals are like, for the third one. But yeah, we're pushing.
All right, you only want to cross one middle manager at a time.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. But the campaign is basically story mode, where every corporation gets their own secret mission, and basically, if you are successful at any given game session, you learn a little bit more about the galaxy, and you kind of get corporate secrets that you otherwise wouldn't get access to. And if you are defeated, you still go on. You still continue the mission, but the game changes around you, and it gets a little bit more challenging, and you have to deal with some more puzzles and difficult things to overcome in the next round.
Yeah, taking a lot of hints from the legacy games as of late that have been coming out that became really popular, where these kind of consistent effects have a prolonged effect on your gameplay.
Well, tell me about the inspirations then. Like, what kind of games do you guys play that inspires this type of output?
So for me, I play lots of them. Let's see, Pandemic Legacy recently was a great cooperative game, which is really kind of fueling the idea of making this we have this one mode we really want to try to get done, which is 3 different corporations getting together and trying to actually cooperate to just survive the planet's hostilities. Right, everyone's throwing everything they got at just to make it so we could all be on the planet. Right, kind of the opposite theme, but the same mechanics, and it all works really well that way. For the more aggressive,
I'm glad that's what you wanted to. I could have sworn you were going to say like they got together and then sponsored a corporate bum fight league.
That's a good card idea. I'm going to add that.
Bum fight league.
Bum fight league.
Anyone with the bum fight league, I want my face right on there.
The horrible time in our society.
Well, we have a Kickstarter tier for that.
I wasn't ready for that one. All right, we'll just add it in. Gage, fix it.
Well, also want to point out that is on record as my idea, so putting that out there.
As far as the competitive games go for me,
I want 7 cents.
No problem. We can do that.
All right.
I'll get you another bag of gummy bears.
And gummy
bears. You like? Yeah.
That's correct. If they pay me in gummy bears, I will be A-okay.
Solid.
Not the Oscars though. That's a cash only.
So the other games I play that are more in line with competitive concepts, like Netrunner, is a very popular. It's actually a remake from an older game in the '90s. Very popular locally, in fact. It's a cyberspace type of game, hackers versus corporations. It's asynchronous.
Very confusing. Very confusing.
It can be incredibly confusing without a mentor. Yes, absolutely. I had a friend who showed me, and that's just how it keeps going.
When you want old school convolution, there is no better resource than Johnny. No one is more confusing.
But he's the one who's like making all this work.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's the one that makes it look extra
He makes it look
complex.
like, see?
Eiffel Tower right with
there.
Herb over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
that's the gross comparison they make. But yeah,
I see.
But our goal is definitely to make our game.
Eiffel Tower. That's gross.
Yeah, there we go. And then knock it down. No, is to make it less complicated.
This is an all ages show. I just want to point out.
Yeah. They told me PG-13 earlier, so yeah.
Shame on you.
We do want to make this more accessible. So the idea is, so Netrunner is an incredibly complex game, and we have found ways. We've tested it a number of times at various conventions nearby. Like we went to TempleCon down in Rhode Island. We went to Boston PFIG.
No, we were
Festival there. Oh, really?
We hosted the ceremony.
That's awesome.
Thank you for sticking around and watching us.
No, I went to the party after.
They kicked us out. They wouldn't let us stay.
There was that too, but I went to the party afterwards.
I actually remember checking out your game at the that convention, I think almost a year ago, or just about a year ago. It was in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's TempleCon.
That's it. That was the one.
That's right.
I didn't get the opportunity to actually play the game, but I did watch the game being played.
Awesome.
Well, I can't really say much because it's been a year, so I kind of forgot most of it. So
that's okay.
I'm certain it changed a lot too since then.
It has. The core mechanics are still the same, but yeah, the art has like really ramped up. The look of it looks completely different, and it blows me away. When I was telling her this morning, if you try ever do a Kickstarter by yourself, it is a nightmare. There is no way I could possibly see this happening. But when I wake up at any given day, I can see part of our project has moved forward, and that is a brilliant thing to see. That everyone on the team is just moving, and that's really inspiring for us. But yeah, the game is supposed to be much more accessible, and we can get games down to like 8 to 10 minutes, as opposed to like a half-hour Magic match. The first game you play does take like half an hour. You have to just get the game's concepts down, but once you're there, they're really quick, and I like that. And it started off way too complex, and we got a lot of feedback when we changed it, and people look at it, and we had one guy that was like, one kid who was 13 came in and was like, got this, and just ran with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like it when they just get it.
Is it designed to be a game where you have best of 3, best of 5, or is it meant to be played in one match?
Because of the speed, I usually view it as a one-time thing, but because of the speed of it, most of the people who sat down to play it, especially at TempleCon, wanted to keep playing and just do the 2 of 3 thing, which I think is brilliant. And her campaigns are
best of 5 would be the campaign mode for season 1, and then hopefully over time we can grow the campaign in future expansions as well.
So basically 3 or more bomb fights.
Yeah.
One.
And
all right, so you've got the solid influence there. You've got obviously audience approval, and you've been getting a good response. Where can cats actually check this out?
That's all you.
So we are on Twitter at Bad Captain Games. We're also on Facebook at Facebook blah.com /Bad Captain Games. Our website is also badcaptaingames.com. You may notice the trend there. And I'm on Twitter at Iron Aaron, and this guy is on Twitter at Rule of 3, but has a 0 instead of an O. Yeah.
All right, and also you
dropped
like 4 hours ago a Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are planning on kickstarting next week, right before PAX. We will be at PAX in the tabletop section of the indie tabletop mega booth.
Yeah, we got in.
Yes. Right. So if you also got into PAX and would like to check us out, please do so. We will be there Friday through Sunday, all day.
Nice. Cool. BadCaptainGames.com. Check them out. Also, all the links to social media and the like are on the site.
Oh, cool.
So you can follow them there. Stalk them, get the lowdown on Zero Sum. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah.
This was all the fun so far.
Cool. Also, if you have any information, additional questions for them, etc., again, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. Yeah. But now, I want to hear about this movie, this motion picture that everybody's been talking about called Get Out. Mm-hmm. Because you all got to check this out. I didn't because I was sick, and I'm heated because this movie, as someone currently in an interracial relationship, touches a little close to home for me. So I'm like, I don't know
that was actually a running joke. It was like, Pat's sick.
Oh, forget you, man. Wow.
It's a little too close to home for Pat.
Forget all of it. These are my people. All right, we're talking.
But they all got mad at me because I said it. Was like, come on, James.
Yeah, you of all people, my brother.
Me of all people.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go into personal information, we're talking about Jordan Peele, noted comedian Jordan Peele's first venture into screenwriting, and this is not a comedy. It's actually a horror film called Get Out. Mm-hmm. All right, so you want to give us a lowdown? What's good? What's bad?
Yeah, I'm not the only one that saw it. You say you saw it too, right? You saw it too, John?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
All right, so be down and dirty. Jordan Peele calls it a social thriller. Which is really interesting. So it's like a psychological thriller, but he calls it a social thriller because of the social issues that come out of it. I mean, just real down and dirty. Interracial couple, black guy, white young woman. She brings him home to meet her parents. And just it goes left real fast when he brings her home, because he knew, he asked at the box like, hey, does your parents know I'm black? No, they don't. Red flag popped up, but he kept pushing.
Yeah, that's real. Like, why is that not understood? They need to know this. I don't care how understanding you think they are. You don't just spring that situation on anybody.
You don't. No, never.
From experience.
From experience.
Sadly, from experience, you do not just spring that on them.
But yeah,
especially if they got guns.
It went left
again from experience,
and that's actually one of the interesting pieces of it. I mean, that's all I'm gonna give you because I don't want to ruin the movie for you. You just need to go see it. Just a side note, deep dive. I mean, this movie's also got a lot of backlash, despite the fact that it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really big for it to hit 100%.
Yeah, very few movies actually make
on Rotten Tomatoes. It's huge.
With over 100 reviews.
Exactly.
So this isn't like 10 that say 100%. Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing movie, but it did get some backlash, specifically because of that reason you mentioned. Because it does bring out things that are insensitive when it comes to black-white relations. And I think one of the reasons why I got backlash is because just that remark you said, the notion of bringing black guy home to the white parents with a shotgun. Everyone assumes that only rednecks from the South. So she had been like a Southerner from Kentucky. Everything been A-okay. But he's getting a lot of backlash because it's a lily white family from like New England. So it's like liberals. So I think that's where the backlash is, because there's this assumption that, if it was an interracial couple and this notion of not understanding and a thriller aspect of it was because of its rednecks from the South, then that's acceptable. They're from Alabama. Of course they're going to be that way. But because it's lily white folks from New England who's supposed to be more progressive and understanding, those folks are pissed and angry at this movie. Like, this is racist. But it's interesting because the rest of America's like, no, not really. This is actually a pretty good movie, and it's getting 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's interesting. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna stop talking and hear what my other two brothers have to say about it. What do y'all think?
A little quiet over there.
I have nothing to add, to be honest with you.
Adam with the string of Polynesian girlfriends in his history there. And he's kind of keeping that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to really. You gave the bare bones of it, and I think that's good enough. I would definitely. The most important thing is to kind of go in with a clear head and not give too much away. So I will just say that much.
Well, give us a little bit then, man. Because I want to know. Like, you of all people are very hard on movies, and I want to know what really meshed with you here without going into.
That's because I can't. That's what I'm saying.
It's hard.
I cannot.
But what about performances? I mean, who really shone in this one?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone was spot on.
Okay. Pretend you're not like trolling me, because actual people are listening to this for information.
There are some things that you can talk about in this movie that doesn't give away anything. Like, for instance, this movie. So I was coming in expecting. I'm a huge horror movie fan, and I was expecting something along the lines of horror, psychological horror, right around there. But what threw me off was that it had variation. It had variety in sort of. And it was quick. It would transition to like, oh, this is going to be the funny scene. This is going to be the scary scene. And it would go quick and mix and match them, and it wouldn't feel out of place at all.
It was getting labeled. It's like, oh, it's not a straight-laced horror film. People do that because they don't want to get like pigeonholed into one thing. Like, oh, he's just a horror director or something like that. So they say, oh, but it's a bigger message and it has all these other aspects. It just means it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It means he has chops to make a good movie, and he can hit a bunch of different points without. You're right. You're like going, I'm just this, I'm just that. Like he has, he's fluid with what he's presenting to you. So he's definitely proved himself. That I think that's the biggest thing I can give you. That he is a very first-rate director, Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? I didn't think he'd be right out the box this good, but he is absolutely so. Because
I know him as a comedian, but only as a comedian, and it's usually touch and go when people try to extend outside their genre. I called Jim Carrey. Yeah, doing dramatic work.
Yep. I remember that.
Prime example.
I mean, it's one of those sort of things where there are comedic elements in there, but it's not completely over the top. It's just little nuances that were in there. I mean, for those individuals who grew up like myself in an African American household where watching horror movies are par for the course of screaming at the TV, that definitely happened. I mean, I went to a screening of it last week before it dropped nationwide, and it was a really good screening. It was a very diverse crowd, but it was definitely a little heavier on the black and brown side, and without a doubt. There were times in which folks are screaming at the screen, and I mean to the point where I screamed at the screen. I mean, hear me out all the way.
Right. Well, no, thanks for clarifying that. I thought you meant in the movie he's yelling at a TV for no reason.
No, like the people in the theater are like, "What are you doing? Get out! What are you doing?" I mean, I want to give a shout out to my girl Erica, who literally had to put her arm on me because I'm screaming.
Awesome.
At one point, I screamed, "What are you doing?" Expletive. Like, stay on task. Like at one point, he's trying to get out, and he like, what's over there? And he goes and looks, which horror movie tropes.
Nah, you
don't look. Yeah. You don't go somewhere you don't need to go. Your job is get out. So he licks. He's like, let's go check this out. I'm like, what are you doing? Stay on task. Get out. And I'm jumping.
Maybe they named it that way so you didn't have to yell it. You know,
pretty much.
We understand. Yeah.
And the best part about it is that at the end of the movie, one of our buddies, E-Nig, who's a friend of the show, he overhears an older white guy say, "You know what? That was a great movie experience. That's the only I want to see a movie just like that. Just like that whole." Experience of people who are so engaged in it that they're yelling. It wasn't disturbing yelling, but when the horror music's hitting and you're like, oh my God, he's gonna make it. You can hear Butters like, he better make it. He's gonna go, run. And you hear these Butters run. It's like he yells, run. It was really engaging in that sort of way that you're on the edge of your seat, and you're right, it kind of ebbs and flows.
All right, so you say that now. As somebody who hasn't seen that, that sounds like it would make more of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 effect to me, and that would kind of take away from the horror if I'm there and there are people like cracking jokes and stuff.
I would say don't look at it as a horror film, but if you go at it thinking like I want a good horror film, you're not going to be disappointed. But it brings more to the table.
It does.
I praised a movie I don't know, like a year ago called The Hollow. Because of its pacing. This movie does a way better job of pacing than that one did. It's just spot on. There's never a dull moment in this movie. There's always something interesting going on. And the movie was like an hour and 40 minutes long or something like that. It seemed like it was way quicker because there was so much stuff going on, but I was surprised when I heard it was an hour 40. I'm like, wow, hour 40?
Like it seemed longer or seemed shorter?
Seemed shorter.
It seemed shorter because
it was paced so well.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, it was going quick. You're never lingering on something. How there'd be like a scene that'd show a shot of like, I'm just talking movies in general. Show a shot of like trees for like 20 seconds. Like, all right, whatever, scenic shot. There's none of that. It's just all of it's intentional. All of it's on purpose. It all fits into place. Okay, well then, Adam, as a suspense and horror movie aficionado, would you say this is better or worse than the 1987 classic Deathbed?
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Deathbed? What?
It's good though. Go check it out.
You said I called you an aficionado. Okay, so you're saying it's good. This does earn your seal of approval.
Yes.
Yeah. But when I went to go and check it out on Friday, it was packed. We went on the 8 o'clock showing, and it was actually sold out. It oversold. There were people that were actually sitting on the floor in the theater, willing to watch it. And my girlfriend and I were like, "Nah, we need to sit down and watch this proper." So we actually came back at the 10 o'clock in order to watch it.
Fire hazard.
We lingered for 2 hours just so we could get proper seats to watch this movie.
Like, it's not BS to you. Adam not giving you enough. He's absolutely right. Like, there's really nothing else we can't say. I feel like I already gave you too much right now. Like, telling you he almost went on the side quest. It's that good. I mean, if that story doesn't sell it, of folks showing up and sitting in the hallway. See it, man.
I'm walking there, trip over some dude's girlfriend, and it'll be a real horror in the situation. All right, then I'm gonna Get Out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so Get Out. You're saying see?
Absolutely. See it.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
All around.
Yep, absolutely.
All around, 2 thumbs up.
Crazy. All right, cool. All right, that was thumbs up by Jordan Peele. And again, anything to say about that? I cannot stress it enough. geekdownradio@gmail.com. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. But now it's time to say goodbye to James and all his friends.
Peace.
MIC. No, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank Black Adam Willis.
Yep.
Want to thank Just Johnny.
Yep.
Want to thank JM the Thriller Priest.
Peace.
Orange Juice James.
Yay.
All right, I want to thank Tom.
Thank you very much.
And Martha.
A pleasure as always.
And Frost. From Black Captain Game. Bad Captain Games. You go to Black Captain Game.
We combine this radio show and our game.
Careful. Little different. Bad Captain Games.
We're hoping to do the second company of Cabin Boy, but yeah, it's
we don't talk about that.
Okay, for you older
what happened to the first mate?
Gamers.
Captain, first mate.
And DJ Herbie Herb, my man. All right, and want to remind you all, you can catch us every Monday nights right here on WEMFradio.com or on twitch.tv/TheGeekDown. You can also hit us up on social media. We're on SoundCloud, Geek-Down. We're on iTunes. If you search The Geek Down, first ones that come up. We're on YouTube. We're all over the sucker, Instagram. And if you go to our bio page right on Twitch or on the WEMF site, all the social media links are right there. Hit us up on social media too and let us know what you think. But until then, we'll catch you all Monday nights, 9 p.m. right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, be excellent to each other. Peace.